I dare you to act and not ignore, for we are living in the dawn of the world's biggest crisis, a climate crisis. Every human, every animal, every single living thing on our planet will be affected. If you don't believe me, just look at the facts. Over 600 million tons of methane is currently produced yearly, and it's still increasing. The world emits over 33 billion tons of CO2, and it's still increasing. We produce 448 million more tons of plastic pollution from 1950 to 2015, and it's still increasing, even expected to double by 2015. Microplastics can be found everywhere around the world. There was even a plastic bag found at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and at the top of Mount Everest, there are plastics. If this still doesn't convince you that this is a real crisis, well, Indonesia is relocating its capital city because of rising sea levels. They're having 15 named storms that reel 39 miles per hour or higher, 8 hurricanes and 4 major hurricanes this year, and the numbers are still increasing. 200 species of animals go extinct every single day. And one day, we will be one of those species. The news says we aren't doing enough to save our planet. That's a lie. The truth is, we aren't doing anything at all. Most of us don't even try. This is a real crisis, and it's coming fast. And yet you continue with your lives and are doing nothing about it except for making it worse. Most of us know a burger uses a lot of water, 660 gallons to be exact, and yet you still buy a Big Mac just because it tastes good. Did you know that going 1 year without paper saves 8,5 trees, but going 1 year without beef alone saves 3,432 trees? When is change coming, I ask you? Well, all the solutions we need are right in front of us. It's black and white. We either stop our planet from a mass extinction, or we don't. The climate is changing, so why aren't we? How many people in this room are breathe-free? Vegetarian? Dairy-free? And lastly, vegan. Savanta Arenas even foreshadowed the effects of what usage of coal would do to the environment in 1896. We knew all the effects of climate change 40 years ago, and still nothing has changed. Why are people not changing? Well, one explanation for this common phenomenon of not wanting to change is called cognitive dissonance. Dissonance is a musical term that means lack of harmony, but it can also mean a tension or clash that happens when something occurs that makes you feel uncomfortable. And cognition is the mental action of acquiring knowledge, and together they make cognitive dissonance. To change, we all know, is difficult, but you can undergo a reduction of cognitive dissonance and then become more immune to change. And there are 3 things which affect this. Firstly is the type of belief. For example, I always have turkey on Christmas, so what's going to make me give it up now? Secondly is the value of your belief. It's a holy night, and my favorite thing to do is carve the turkey. And then the size of disparity. No meat, no Christmas. And we know that this is different for everybody, but the method for this reduction is the same. And with these tips and tricks, you can reduce your cognitive dissonance and become more immune to change. Firstly, you have to justify your behavior and change it. For example, I'll not buy Haridos today because it's bad for the environment. And then you justify your behavior and say, I'm allowed to cheat on my diet every once in a while. Then you can add new cognitions. For example, I'll not buy schnitzel today because it's bad for the environment. And then you can ignore or deny conflicting information. For example, a steak can't be that bad, can it? Deny, deny, deny. I call this the CJAC technique. Change, justify, add, deny. Change your behavior. Justify your behavior with information. Add new cognitions and deny conflicting information. But unfortunately, many people are unwilling to change their views and account for the new information. But you don't have to change it straight away. You can reduce your cognitive dissonance. And if science worked the way many people do, and cognitive dissonance reduction was said to be impossible, we would still be living in caves and dying in our 30s. So this has been proven to be successful, and I even know this from my own personal experience. And I started my journey of cognitive dissonance reduction over 2 years ago, when I found out what beef production was actually doing to the environment. At the time, my favorite food was beef lasagna. And when I found out how bad it was for the environment, I no longer wanted to eat this. And then when my dad asked me what I wanted to have for dinner, I stopped saying lasagna. And that was the first step of the CJAC technique. I changed my behavior. And once I realized I could easily live without beef, why did I need the other meats? So I slowly cut them out as I realized I was comfortable without them, to the point where I am now vegetarian. And I used the CJAG technique, and I didn't even know it. I changed my behavior. I justified my actions. I added new cognitions, and I denied conflicting information. I remember going to lunch when I said I was vegetarian, and there was this delicious schnitzel there, and I was like, ooh, so tasty. But I did not take it because I knew what it was doing to the environment. So I can now stand here and proudly say that I have been beef-free for over 2 years and vegetarian for 1. And because I use the CJAC technique, I hope that maybe by next year I can be dairy-free or even vegan. So, I dare you to use the CJAC technique because it brought me a long way. It can bring you a long way. It can bring our planet a long way. So, I dare you to act and not ignore climate change. And you can do this through using the CJAC technique. Thank you.